What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Neek, the podcast. I'm sing-songy today. I am Kiku, one-third of the powerful nerd triumvirate that makes up Neek, the podcast. Along with me, as always, is going to be Josh, the demon sour cream, Rachel Finney, who is tucked in to his bed right now to do the show. We imagine a scenario where he screamed for his girlfriend, Jesse! Jesse! Tuck me in! Read me a story! I'm now ready for this show. Josh, how are you? How are your Black Friday purchases?
I'm good. I'm actually tucked into bed because, one, I have no desk, so I'm doing the show from bed instead of the floor this week. Two, it is actually very, very cold in my house. My room is the coldest room of the house, and I don't get adequate heating to it. So this is the alternative to me freezing my bum off for the hour and a half of the show.
I mean, that's also how you keep evil in check, is you keep it cold. So right now you're being contained.
It is. I made lots of Black Friday purchases, though.
Okay.
Some very cheap video games, lots and lots of movies. If you know me, I'm a huge movie buff, as you've inferred from the show. I think Chelsea and I bought somewhere between 12 and 15 movies and TV series, and about 3 or 4 video games. So lots and lots of purchases. Came in under 115 total after tax, I think.
Nice.
Total. So
Nice.
That's for us and Christmas presents for lots of people. So we're doing good.
All right, good. And of course, how could we forget? We will never forget our fanatic with the schematic, Ray, Galley, Hawkmoon, Fatman, Mini Nuke, Williams. I really hope there's no other games that have impressive weapons because your name is getting ridiculous to say. I kind of feel like I need to create my own Torah, and you will have your own section in it.
Xenoblade comes out next week, so be
Great. Awesome. That's exactly the news I wanted to hear. Sir, how are you? How did your Black Friday purchases go?
You got to put Yokai Watch in there.
No,
I refuse.
I will find a yokai ghost that you can put in my name, and it's going to be glorious. Anyway, Black Friday was good. I did all my Black Friday shopping on, I think it was Tuesday this year. I went and I got Yokai Watch. I got South Park Stick of Truth for 360 because of that backwards compatibility. I never played that, so that'll be fun.
Game of the year last year.
Let me see. I paid off Xenoblade because I'm ready for that, but I won't be able to play it till we get back from San Francisco, so boo. And yes, I didn't buy anybody anything else because it was all about me.
As it so should be. And you mentioned San Francisco. Me and Josh know why you're going to San Francisco, but the 3 people listening at home, they do not, Ray. Tell them why you were going to San Francisco.
Oh, well, the mayor of San Francisco called me like 3 weeks ago. It was like, Ray.
God fucking damn it. Just
PlayStation Experience is happening this year in San Francisco. It was in Vegas last year, and I was looking forward to that. But then they were like, no, by the way, it's in San Francisco this year. So I am going to San Francisco for the weekend to enjoy myself with some PlayStation goodness with all my other PlayStation heads, including our friends and heroes, the Kinda Funny crew. So that'll be a lot of fun.
If Greg does not take off his shirt and scream a baker's dozen at least 15 times, it's a lost weekend.
We'll see what he does when they have their PlayStation Experience specific panel.
I'm
also hosting an Uncharted panel also.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also kind of upset that it isn't in Vegas because I want to see both you and Greg Miller at a strip club with your shirts off, spinning it around your head, screaming a baker's dozen as you make it rain. Rachel's probably not going to want me to say that, and even though I can see in your eye that's an idea worth entertaining, I don't want to be the reason for any divorces.
Well, no, I was thinking I probably could only afford to make it rain with quarters, so I'd probably get kicked out.
No, they'd be like, look, it's more arcade nerds. We're used to this.
Just more arcade. Moving on.
As I told Lee from Phoenix Overdrive, my porn name was Danky Kang.
No. What did you buy on Black Friday, Kiku?
You're dismissed.
Thank you. Dismiss me. I got 4 games. I actually decided to go more Sony than Xbox One. Not because Ray is brainwashing me as I sleep. Maybe it is that.
It's only fair. You got me to buy these pop figures, so.
Fair enough. That is an actual accurate representation of our friendship at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
I bought The Evil Within, Bloodborne, and oh my god, Until Dawn for the PlayStation 4. I picked up Wolfenstein 3D. I want to say 3D. It's not. It's Wolfenstein the new order for the Xbox One, and I had to replace my copy of not the regular show, but Mad Max Fury Road on Blu-ray. So I did that as well. Yeah, it was came in under $100. It was a good haul, definitely, for sure. And I actually did it all online because still can't walk that great, and if someone tried to bump me out of the way, I would hit them with my cane that I'm using to walk right now. So I avoided.
Don't have canes. Good God.
Exactly, I avoided an assault charge, which is a plus right now in my life as it is going. But all right, guys, we know what we bought, we know what we did, we let everybody know. Let's get into the news, and our first bit of news: Ray's favorite adorable superheroine, not the drug people.
God damn it.
Female hero.
Didn't make it 10 minutes without being a drug addict. Yeah, great.
Well, I mean, you never know. Sometimes heroin can make you fly.
Thanks.
Of course, I mean, I've never done it. But
I appreciate it.
as some big news coming out is Supergirl looks to be getting some major play in the first season. It was announced that they were looking to cast Superman, albeit as a preteen, and after months of constant denouncing this next rumor, we'll have a crossover episode with The Flash. Gentlemen, please respond to these news bits without comparing the show to Jessica Jones, or Ray will jump through his computer and walk through roundhouse kick you in the throat.
No, I'd probably just stab you, but it's different. I don't want to compare kicking you to stabbing you. That just they're not fair at all.
That's the old East St. Louis coming out in you.
Oh my God.
We don't kick. We stab around here, around her parts.
Oh my God. But so they're casting him as a preteen?
Yeah, I guess it's going to be in flashbacks.
It has to be a flashback because he's already kind of made a cameo as his adult self saving her. So yeah.
Well, the weird thing is that they were like, it's going to be when they're both 13 years old, and I was like, but that doesn't fit with continuity. But maybe I read it wrong. It could be me.
TV shows, you know.
I think that this information is kind of a sign of, and I know you enjoy the show, Ray, and I enjoy it in bits and pieces, but from just all, I guess, statistical accounts, like what people are saying it's rated, how much audience it's lost from the first show, it's not doing very well. And I mean, we can get into why.
It's like I need to pull out my checkbook again.
Yeah, pretty much. You're going to need to probably save the show, which is
first Vita and now Supergirl. Man.
Well, I mean, you know, obviously we weren't going to do any comparisons to Jessica Jones, and we won't do any comparisons to Jessica Jones. But there are some glaring problems with the show, and it's not because it's fun and lighthearted. And I think that even with a crossover episode with The Flash, depending on who writes it, if it's the Flash staff, I'll feel confident in the episode. If it's
that's the problem. That is the only problem, is that most of the writing is more socially focused, if that makes sense.
It is, but it's also, and this was something that I did want to talk about, is a lot of the times the socially focused writing of Supergirl feels a little bit petty. I wouldn't say petty, it's just not deep. It's not deep enough. Well, one of the things that was part of that article that I had posted to the group about the comparison, which, this is the only comparison I feel is genuine, is that Jessica Jones pulled off the feminism, or female empowerment thing by never ever mentioning the fact that that's what they were doing. And Supergirl seems to fit that in too much. Like, Cat Grant is always like, well, do you know how hard it is for a woman? And we're like, yeah, we get it. You've been saying it for 6 episodes. Like, enough is enough. Just show it. Just show that, that you are. Throw in more, deep dialogue, as you said, right? Throw in dialogue that is going to, show that she is an independent woman instead of petty lines like, oh, you don't think she can do it because she's a girl? Like, come on, man. That's petty conversation. It really is. I mean, if it happened once, okay, cool. But
it's just that was the style that I'm sure that the whole show was, originally conceptualized with. So, sure. I mean, you might see a change soon. And I will say that, yeah, they could use it because it's like, it's one-trick ponies get boring real quick.
And I mean, the Supergirl should be a very empowering character. The only thing is that I love shows, right? As a man, I love shows that show strong, independent women, even if they do have to rely on a man or another female for assistance sometimes. And I always go back to shows. Obviously, Jessica Jones now is one of them, but I always compare shows like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, right, or Firefly. Even it's funny, Callista Flockhart was in Ally McBeal, which was a very female empowering show when it first came out, and that's what I want to see, is that it's shows about these people, but not about the actual social topic. Like, you can fit that social progression in there without having to mention it, because when you mention it, it kind of deflates it. It's just it's like someone complaining about it instead
Well, I
of.
mean, yeah, it's just more so if you keep, like you said before, if they just keep saying it and not doing it, that's where you kind of lose the focus. I would love this show way more if it was just more Kara coming into her own as
Yes.
a super heroine, and that's all I really want. I just want her to realize that yes, Superman is her cousin. She is just as good and can be at like every bit as a hero as he is, without even having to address it. She just has to go do it.
And then
That's
the
not the
other.
focus that they took.
No,
So,
the other big thing too is going to be that their weekly villains are throwaways, like completely throwaways. Like, by the time you get to the fight between them, you're just kind of like, I don't care. This person has not made me feel any tension, has not made me feel scared or anything like that. Like,
I think they're trying to get a handle on how to even address villains like those, because they are a very different breed of villain from what
sure.
we've seen in recent years. If you go back to the '90s, where we had shows like this all the time, where villain of the week was always the flavor. Um, it was different because we were used to it. That's what everybody was doing. But we've evolved past that, and I feel like these guys are kind of trying to figure out how they play these cards rather than what to do with them.
so here's my question for you, Ray. I've always felt that they don't spend enough time on these weekly villains in each episode, and I kind of feel like they're juggling too many plot threads, right? Like, for me, I feel that the focus should be more on her coming into her own as Supergirl, and maybe cut out some of the romantic stuff that's going on, or like her little crush on Jimmy Olsen at the moment. I'm not saying they should never get into it and whatnot. I just feel that they're trying to do too many things on a brand new show where they should really be setting a baseline to grow off of it in further seasons.
The problem is, what I feel like really hurts this show is that they want it to be so cut off from everything else DC on TV. Had they been more open to, hey, there's this whole other, technically multiverse, but no, we're our own thing. We're separate from all of that. We're not a part of that. Had they not come in with that mindset, I think it would be a very different story.
Do you think that doing a crossover with the Flash is actually going to work? Do you think that those two worlds can mix?
For her character, yes, but for her show, no.
That's actually exactly how I feel. But Warner Brothers has made a change to their movie and television universe, even if it should never have happened in the first place. But no longer will movies trump the television shows. This is more than likely meaning that the shows will be able to use characters and storylines that the movies were holding on to just in case. Of course, we now have no Suicide Squad on Arrow because of the film, and WB worrying about brand confusion. Still ridiculous. But this does open the door for future seasons to include characters and locations that were previously untouchable. Please, God and Berlanti, bring us that killer Justice League that Smallville promised.
Aren't they doing it? They're giving us a new cartoon.
No. No to the cartoons. I really think it's funny. One of the articles I read about this, said that, yes, the TV shows are never going to probably bring in like $1 billion of revenue like The Dark Knight did. But it is a constant source of revenue for them. And not only that, more people are flocking to The Flash and the Arrow than to almost any other TV show out there. So taking away from them is silly, and I'm glad they realize that. I really do. Maybe we will get one episode where Ollie winds up in Gotham, or Barry ends up in Metropolis. Even if they're not going to use Batman or Superman, at least we'll get out of these cities and not to like a foreign country, but more into what we consider the DC geography, right?
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's just we want more of a detailed map, not these weird topical maps of certain places and that's it. I want something that's kind of connected. At least a little bit. That'd be nice. Even nods to the existence of the other ones would bring me way more joy than them being like So what? They don't exist in this universe.
Well, they have actually already started doing that, right? With the new Legends of Tomorrow trailer, at the end you hear Vandal Savage, say, "I've heard, what was it? I've seen Dark Knights fall and Men of Steel break."
Yep.
And granted, he's not saying Superman and Batman,
Right.
but if you're a fan, or not even a fan, if you've been alive for the last 30 years, you know what he was saying, and that's something that we wouldn't have heard last season at all. No mention of it, right?
Yep, that's true. So they are making some strides. So,
which is, let me tell you, very cool. Very hopeful for the future of these shows now, because maybe we will get some characters that we want to see. Like if Suicide Squad flops, right, or does not get the traction that it needs, will we actually see the Suicide Squad brought back to television? They could spin that off into a TV show from Arrow, which is all Arrow seems to be doing nowadays. But I shouldn't say that. 4th season is actually pretty good. It's a lot better than 3, but still. But who doesn't like John Constantine? Well, rumor has it, Ray and Josh, is that he will be back as a series regular in the 2nd season of Legends of Tomorrow.
Good.
Too early to cast? Don't be a cotton-headed ninny-muggins, because at the current time we are more amped for Legends of Tomorrow than almost anything else. Star Wars excluded, Josh. Don't get your panties in the way. Tuck yourself back in. We understand. With this rumor is also that Legends of Tomorrow will be closer to an anthology series rather than a set-in-stone one, as it was told that each season will feature different heroes and different storylines. Even though Del Toro turned in his Justice League Dark script, can you imagine Matt Ryan leading that team on TV?
I love the idea of Legends of Tomorrow now, and it's weird that we know way more about this show than we've even been shown. But still, I love it. I love that the cast will be interchangeable, because that leaves room for all of them to, get their footing, be introduced, and then go off on their own thing on all the other shows, which I love. It's kind of like a breeding ground. It's like the AAA league for the NBA, for Major League Baseball, which I do love. So, I think this is a good plan. Like, they're finally trying to. This is the loophole that gets everybody connected.
Well, what's also cool is that they can introduce these very strong characters as side characters, and then we can get focus on them, right?
Right.
Like, how tragic would it be if they introduced Hawkgirl and Hawkman, into this 4th season of Arrow and the 2nd season of Flash, and then we only got them sparingly. Now we'll get a show that actually shows them. They can do their thing. They can go back to Arrow Flash. Maybe we'll get a Hawkman Hawkgirl TV show out of it, depending on how well it does. And then the next season of Legends of Tomorrow could be completely new characters that we've wanted to see for a long time, and now we finally get them.
But I still feel like Legends of Tomorrow is that testing ground for a Justice League show.
Sure. It is definitely Justice League Light, right?
Mm-hmm.
Josh, you've been awfully quiet.
It's because we're talking about DC. You know how he feels.
No. I mean, I kept quiet on Supergirl because I haven't made it a secret. I haven't gotten a chance to dive into Supergirl yet.
Misogynist.
Oh no.
I've not had a chance to dive into it yet. And then I really feel like the last topic and then this one kind of go hand in hand. I've felt for a while now that Legends of Tomorrow, like Ray said, is a breeding ground for an eventual Justice League show. And especially with the news now that it's going to have an interchangeable cast. I think that by the time Legends of Tomorrow finishes its run, it's going to be the team-up show we've always wanted. You've Hawkman and Hawkgirl on there now. Who's to say that 2 or 3 seasons from now, when Arrow and Flash are wrapping up, that Arrow and Flash won't be on the final run of Legends of Tomorrow, and that it won't have a name change for that final run.
Right.
That's a very exciting possibility to me.
Yeah.
To have Barry and Oliver on there, to have Hawkman and Hawkgirl on there, John Constantine, tie everything together finally. And I think that will be better executed than anything that's currently going in the film universe. We've said time and time again on this show that The Flash is better than just about anything else on TV right now. Legends of Tomorrow has us pumped. And I think Legends of Tomorrow, if done right, could be better than The Flash in its back half. It's going to take a lot, but it could be. And God, there's just such a great rogues gallery they could pull from. There's so many team members they could pull from out of all these shows. There's so much possibility with this show. There's more so than Arrow or Flash have going for them right now, and that's saying a lot. That literally the possibilities are endless. I'm really excited to see where this goes, and I just think we need to calm down a little bit on talking about a season 2 already. I'd be more excited if they were saying, "Oh, we're talking about bringing in Matt Ryan, for like the last couple episodes of the season or something, maybe like the back half, the back 6 or something." With an option to be a series regular for season 2, to be elevated to series regular and be the leader of the show for season 2. But to already be casting him, I think it's a little premature. We're jumping the gun, even though he is a fan favorite. It feels a little too soon. Like they're a little too confident that this is going to be great. I have no doubt that it's going to be great, but that they kind of feel like they could do no wrong if they're not careful. We're being a little too cocky like Arrow Season 3 was, and I don't want to be in another situation like that, if that makes any sense.
No, it does. It does, totally.
So
do we feel that if they do ramp it up and it does become Justice League, are we going to see Superman and Batman show up?
The series finale.
Okay. What I was actually, my other suggestion was, do we think that Barry Allen would take the place of Superman and Oliver would take the place of Batman?
Possibly, but it's been said before, correct me if I'm wrong, that this is a team that will not just exist in the present, that they will have to save the future as well, this future and the past. So who's to say that they couldn't operate with a Superman and Batman from a different reality, from like Earth 2?
True.
So that opens it up that they could operate with, because we already... I'm not going to go into any spoilers from shows, but it's strongly implicated that there's an Earth 2 going on.
So what are you talking about? You haven't even started yet.
No, but we've talked about it.
Yes, we have.
Well, I mean, obviously by now, if if you're paying attention to all this stuff and you don't know that there's an Earth 2.
Yeah, essentially.
I have a theory from that I can't wait to talk with you guys about. So Josh, hurry up.
Like we said, mid-season finale's coming up. I'm getting ready to dive in. I wanted to watch the whole first half of the season in one sitting. We kind of have a clear idea, though, that they're doing that. That's why I ultimately think, like we said, everything's tied together. I think that's why they're doing this, is ultimately because of Legends of Tomorrow, that's going to be the piece that ties everything together, and we will get Justice League out of that. As for Batman and Supes, series finale, the final couple of episodes, you'll have a Batman and Supes show up for the very, very, very end.
Okay.
Because that's just too much.
What's your theory, Nick Theories?
Oh no, my theory is a Flash theory. I don't want to talk about it.
Oh God, please say Flashpoint. For the love of God, please say Flashpoint.
No, I'm not going to talk about it right now, but we'll talk about it at a different point in time.
Fair enough. Well, first photo for the upcoming DC film Wonder Woman has hit your local interwebs, and it shows a hooded Gal Gadot as Josh's favorite word, titular heroine, and not the drug.
Oh, screw
Of
you.
course, with the hood and her fist raised up to her face, I'm getting a weird Jedi meets Zordon meets the Shire kind of vibe, but if she's anything like the bangle-smashing Amazonian goddess we saw during the BVS trailer, we are all on board. For some reason, BVS changed to Abyss in my phone, and I was like, I didn't know that she was going to be in a Norwegian disco movie. Also revealed during the same time frame were photos of what Wonder Woman would have looked like in George Furious Miller's helmed Justice League movie.
By the way, I loved both of those pictures.
I think they definitely took some inspiration from his look, or his movie. Some
after they adjusted it, yeah.
Yeah.
But golly, I'm like, all right, I see.
How perfect does Gal Gadot look as Wonder Woman?
She looks great. Oh man, I saw that and I was like, this movie is going to be great, and not just because it has to be, because it's time.
It also has to be.
Yeah,
though.
It has to be.
Let's be honest. I've been saying for a long time, though, not just Wonder Woman, but when we saw the Batman vs Superman trailer after Comic-Con, I was kind of meh overall, but the Wonder Woman scenes got me so pumped. That was my favorite part,
I
hands
hate to
down.
see it. I'm way more excited to see what they do with the rest of the Justice Leagues that are
Oh
supposed to make
god, I'm
cameos
so excited.
than
I'm so
actual
excited about
Batman and
Wonder Woman.
Superman. I'm way more
So
excited about
excited about
everything
Wonder
else.
Woman. That was like a vindication for me when everybody trashed on Gal Gadot the year before. This was sweet vindication for me. It was
You know,
like,
all those people that
yes.
Googled a picture of Wonder Woman and was like, she doesn't look anything like her. Yeah,
Well,
get
I
She
mean,
would look like the 90s cartoon.
if you guys remember when we first started the shows, when those pictures first started coming out, and we did have our reservations about it. And as we always
Reservations are different from misogynistic bashing.
Oh, yeah, of course. But, to be fair, we did have our reservations about it. With the initial photo that came out of her, she looked like Xena Warrior Princess, and that...
I didn't hate.
Well, let's be... I remember Josh being a little down on it, and I was majorly down on it. And, I always tell people when they change the look of a character, like, it doesn't need to be exactly how the comic book looks, right? But, to immerse yourself into that character, right? To have the believability that that character is alive and walking around, they do have to have that look. When they showed the Batman vs. Superman trailer and we got our first really good look of Wonder Woman, blown away by it. This picture really doesn't do much in the way of reinforcing that because it's a close-up. She's in a hood. Yeah, you can see the tiara and the bangles, which are very cool. But at the same time, like I was kind of hoping for something maybe a little more explosive for a first photo, but the BBS trailer really does it. So,
here's why I think that they didn't give you something more explosive. It's because I think that they're waiting. They want that first look to be in Batman versus Superman. After that, you're gonna see so much more coming out of that publicity campaign. And
I feel like it's gonna happen sooner.
I don't think an official look will happen sooner.
I think they've got competition on the horizon.
And that's that's a really good point, Rand. It was something
that's a fantastic point. It is a fantastic point. If they were smart, they would let it stay until the movie.
If they were smart, but money will make this decision.
Money talks. Yep. I mean, remember the slow burn that we had? And it's not the same thing at all, right? But remember the slow burn we had on the Vision? We knew the Vision was going to be in Age of Ultron. And we didn't even get the Vision teased for the first time until about 2 or 3 months out.
This is true.
And we finally got, like, the full, like, non-toy reveal of him, like, 2 or 3 weeks before, I think, maybe. And it was just like, yes.
That was a good tease. I just don't think that they're going to be as well planned with theirs.
I don't think so either, and that's what it doesn't infuriate me. It frustrates me. I had the same feeling about the Joker and the Suicide Squad. I think that would have been so much better saved as a surprise, saved until much closer to the release. Like, oh my God, so he's in it. Imagine if we were just now finding out like. Right around now that Wonder Woman was in Justice League, or not in Justice League. Wow, in Batman versus Superman. Imagine
you weren't wrong. You're right. It's a Justice League movie.
Well, yeah, but imagine we were just now finding out, like right around now, like we'd heard the rumors and stuff, but we were just finding out that Wonder Woman was going to show up in Batman versus Superman. Like how high would your hype level be shooting now?
Oh yeah.
Rather than from the very beginning, oh, by the way, she's going to be Batman versus Superman.
Yeah, and not to like get us off track, but I feel the same way about Legends of Tomorrow, especially to the point where we are in Arrow and Flash. Had I not known about that show and gotten to we just were like coming up now on the mid-season finales, and then they announced that show, my hype would have been unbelievable for this show. But it's only because of the way the reveals have happened with the characters. It would have been something else.
It's been a slow burn.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of feel like they need to get out. DC and Marvel, what we're seeing right now is the beginning of probably a 10-year war, right? This is going to be a huge battle, and the first shots were really fired by Marvel, right? We had a couple of weeks of people asking when a Civil War trailer was going to come out, and we figured it would be attached to what? The Force Awakens, right?
Mm-hmm.
Instead, Marvel themselves even Marvel and Disney both said it was going to, and then they pulled a fast one, and,
exactly.
Oh, surprise, Kimmel.
Well, yeah, but that's the thing is that they want to start getting that movie in people's mind, right? Like, we don't need any more Star Wars stuff, right? We're at the time they released the trailer, we were 3 weeks out.
Star Wars, I'm gonna be mad.
Yeah, we don't need any more Star Wars stuff. We're already amped. We got our tickets. We're ready to go. So now it's time to start doing the Civil War stuff. And of course, coming out at the same time as Batman vs Superman, and everybody's already hyped for that. There's not much more you can do on that one. So let's get prepared for the next movie, right? Wonder Woman, and that's what we're going to see. We're going to see one company over the next couple of years, show something that we didn't think they were going to show, and then right away there's going to be a response. I'm curious over the next few years if we're actually going to get into spoiler, territory where the companies are going to start spoiling stuff because they feel they need to get out ahead of the other one.
They're going to learn from JJ. JJ knows what's up.
Yeah, but I mean, when you look at it, Star Wars to me is always going to be there's never going to be competition, right? Like even if you had a new Star Trek movie coming out at the same time, like come on, it's Star Wars, man. But when it comes to these DC versus Marvel movies, they are in their own category. They, if you want to say it's Disney versus DC, it really isn't. It's Marvel Studios versus DC.
Well, I mean, Ray has a good point, though. JJ was very methodical. He did the exact same thing on his Star Trek movies. I guarantee you Star Trek Beyond will not have the same marketing campaign next year when Justin Lin promotes it.
Definitely not.
They will not be as spoiler-free when it comes to Idris Elba's villain role as they were with Benedict Cumberbatch. Now, longtime Star Trek fans and the nerd community at large deduced who Benedict Cumberbatch was almost from the beginning.
Yeah.
Just because it's the second Star Trek movie, of course it's going to be Wrath of Khan remake, of course. But the secrecy he had around that original reboot was phenomenal. Marvel and the Russo brothers, I commend in a lot of ways. They took the J.J. Abrams approach for Civil War. They did not release the trailer when a lot of people thought they would, which is going to be when...
I was really impressed when they showed it.
A lot of people were like, oh, they're going to cave and release it right after D23.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
nope.
I was really impressed.
They did not. The trailer we got was a watered-down version of that. We didn't even get the same trailer they did. Wow. We got a bare-bones version of that.
That's impressive.
They got an entire fight. They got an entire...
Stop, because we're going to come up to that.
They got tons of extra stuff. Everything. Anyways, they got that. Then everyone was like, oh, well, we're going to get it during the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. premiere. Nope. Mm-hmm. Oh, well, we'll get it during the mid-season break. Nope. They pulled a fast one and threw it out on Kimmel.
It happened at like 11 p.m. Central Time. Everybody just kind of like,
didn't even announce it. They didn't even announce it. It was just like Marvel tweeted it out like 3 hours before. Oh, we have a surprise for you on Kimmel. You might want to watch it tonight.
I didn't see that. I just remember being on Twitter and like instantly like trailer, and I was like, what?
It leaked the day of, and I guarantee you Marvel was not happy about that.
Oh, I had no idea. Not until like right after they announced it on Kimmel.
Okay, well, we're getting into topic of the week territory, so let's back it down, pull it back, pull it out.
How dare you tell me to hold my hype for Civil War? How dare you? You
only got to hold it for like 20 more minutes.
Oh God.
It's 20 minutes too long. But anyways, I mean, the point is, though, I'm hyped for Wonder Woman more than anything in this movie. It's just how they're going about her has been... They're trying their best to ruin it, I feel. Stop.
Well, I mean, also remember that the production of Wonder Woman was held back a couple of months because they kept losing people. Writers.
Right, Michelle McLaren left because of creative differences, which still huge mistake, DC. Huge mistake. Patty Jenkins is not the answer, but that's neither here nor there.
We'll probably get into that more in the future, right?
Yeah.
But, Josh, news for you. In DC Comics news, Frank Miller has announced he will do a fourth and actually final installment on his Dark Knight series. While Dark Knight 3, the PC Master Race, has just released its first issue, The Dark Knight 4 will be written solo by Miller and has yet to be confirmed by DC themselves. I, too, like to announce things I am doing at work without the okay from the higher-ups. It always seems to work out well.
Okay, so here's my problem with this. We are approximately one issue into an eight-issue run of The Dark Knight 3. Why in God's name are you announcing Dark Knight 4?
He's probably
Why?
bored.
We don't need it. You just don't need it.
Because
Don't let the Batman boys hear you say that.
Because 303, Rise of the Dude Bro, and terrible Spartan costumes for Halloween did not get greenlit by New Line Cinema.
Here's my thing. I've been very unabashed for my love for Frank Miller on this show before. I love both of the Dark Knight graphic novels. I consider them to be two of the greatest graphic novels.
Understatement!
Yeah, I consider them to be two of the greatest graphic novels of all time. They are what got me into loving comic books. Them and the 90s X-Men are what got me into it. Love Frank Miller's Daredevil run. You can see the influences of that clearly in the Daredevil television series. But this is completely, wholly unnecessary. For God's sake, you just released the first issue. I don't care that there's a demand for it. Yes, The Dark Knight Returns is obviously what pushed Batman to the forefront and made him what he is today, brought him back to cultural relevancy. But we don't need it. We don't need a fourth Dark Knight, I don't think. Let this go away for another, decade or so. If you're going to do that, don't announce it when you're just starting out the third installment of this. At this point, it feels like a milking. I already had reservations about there being a third one because the first two were so well done.
So this is why I like J. Michael Straczynski, and he wrote Earth 1 Superman. He puts those books out like once every 4 to 5 years, and he never says anything. Just like he gets a wild hair up his ass, right? And he's like, you know what? I should write another volume to Earth 1 Superman. Let's just do it.
Yeah, this is internet Batman getting to the man who makes Batman.
It's Christopher Nolan fanboys getting.
Yeah. So I mean, it's whatever. It'll come out. Hopefully, it's good.
I even when I went into the comic book shop last week, y'all know me. I don't buy a lot of individual comics. I went in there to just to look around. I knew there really wasn't anything out this week that I wanted, and I saw that. And I had my reservations about picking it up, even though I love Miller, I love the legacy of the Dark Knight graphic novels, and the guy who runs the shop, who knows me personally, he was like, he knew my reservations. We talked about it when it got announced. We've talked about it regularly since then. And he was like, I read it last night. I wasn't going to get it either. He goes, the first issue is solid. He goes, I strongly recommend picking up the first issue and deciding from there. So I picked it up. It's okay. I'm not going to make judgments based off issue 1 of an 8-part series, but why? Why do we need to announce a fourth installment of?
Because something? We need to announce a second season of Legends of Tomorrow before it even airs. That's why.
That's the way it works.
That's the way it works, dude. That's the way it works, bro. However, I got another announcement for you, Josh.
Okay.
That'll disappoint you even more. CEO of 2K Games, and still not convinced that he wasn't a German bad guy from a Die Hard movie with this name, Strauss Zelnick, has announced that there is a new BioShock game in development. As we know, Ken Levine, the original creator and thought engineer, I kind of feel like his brain is like a Disney Imagineer for just twisted stuff, of BioShock and BioShock Infinite will not be attached. So, of course, expect more of BioShock 2, where they will just add something to an already existing template and water it down. Yes, I am still bitter. I paid $60 for that game.
Wait, you're bitter about which game?
BioShock 2.
Wait.
When it first came out, because it said BioShock on it, and I got happy, and then I got depressed.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about Infinite. We was about to have a throwdown.
Oh, no, Infinite's one of my all-time top favorite games.
Good job. That was.
I literally talked about Infinite for 3 months after I beat it, and I came up with all sorts of crazy, insane theories. Like Songbird was actually what was the main bad guy's name? I always forget what it was.
Comstock?
Comstock, thank you. It was actually a Comstock from one of the other universe shoved inside the Songbird, because there's a picture the twins give you that shows, it says Songbird, defense system, and it shows a helmet going over a Comstock face. And I actually saw that, and I went on YouTube and got all the twins videos, and then screen captured that shot. So I always tell people it's Comstock, and I'll send them the photo, and they're like, this game is blowing my mind 2 years after I played it. I'm like, yes, it will.
Yes. Oh man. So yeah. All right. Sorry, had to stay my rage for a second. Anyway. Okay. All right.
I guess for me, BioShock is one of those games, slash series that it's definitely like a love project, right? Like, Ken Levine, there is such a difference of quality and love between BioShock, BioShock 2, BioShock 2, BioShock Infinite, right? And then you can see the through line of BioShock and BioShock 2 if you're really paying attention. And that's BioShock was those two games, Infinite and the regular original BioShock, were so popular not because of how fun they were to play, but because of that. Like you feel that personality in those games. It's not a franchise that I think you can just give to somebody else and say, do something with it. It's not like Call of Duty, right, where you're like, all right, Infinity Ward, we're giving it to Treyarch now, and then Treyarch can make good games out of it. I just don't, I don't feel that unless they somehow surround themselves with Ken Levine 2.0. They're pulling him right out of Berkeley College in California, and they're like, write something twisted, kid. I don't know. It's gonna sell because it has the BioShock name, but I know I personally will not buy it day one or maybe even week or month one. I'll wait, and if I really feel like playing a shooter, I'll pick it up.
Well, like with video games, I'm mostly just in general with I'm going to play the wait and see. Unless it's something that I am a firm, believer in. This is something that I just love. Like if there was another Infamous game coming out done by a different sect of Sucker Punch, I'd be like, I'm just going to play it because that's what I do. I love those games, but I don't know, this one I'll wait. Like I like BioShock. I've never been like in love with them. I loved Infinite, but the series itself, I didn't get on board until Infinite. So I'll play the wait and see.
I kind of feel like this, like, you brought up Infamous. I feel that not anybody could do Infamous right, but I think that a game like that could be done by a large amount of studios. I'm going to put it to you like this, right? Let's say Konami pulls their head out of their ass and decides they're going to do Metal Gear Solid 6, but without Kojima.
Yeah.
What would you say then?
That's gonna happen.
No, but I'm saying let's say it did. Like, theoretically, let's just say,
I mean,
like, would Metal Gear Solid still be Metal Gear without Kojima?
I'd have to play wait and see. We'll see what happens.
See, I feel like it's an appendage. Like, Kojima has a second set of ears, and it's Metal Gear Solid. I really got hung up on what word I was going to use. Anyway, I kind of feel...
I'd have to wait and see. I mean, it's not something that I would, like, super prejudge just because somebody else is handling, the creation of it, because it's got such a lengthy history that they could learn. So, I don't know.
Sure. Okay. Joshua?
I mean, I'm not a BioShock guy, really. I think I played all of an hour and a half of the first one, and...
You are a Puma guy, though, according to your sweatshirt.
I am a Puma guy.
You like
Puma?
It's Puma.
And I never played 2 because I heard how horrendous it was, and I did not play Infinite. I have Infinite sitting free on my PS Plus and on my Games with Gold, I believe.
God, get on that. Get on it.
What? Josh, if there's one thing you do before I die, it better be that you play that game.
Oh, you don't get to pull that shit on us, sir. No. With as many movies as we're like, you need to watch this before we die, and you're like, I'm gonna get around to it.
I mean, if you died tomorrow, I'd be really sad, and then I'd probably watch the movie.
Hey,
I will get a live Puma to come attack me and kill me, so that will happen. There will be a Puma in my house.
Hey, Ray,
no,
I'll get around to it.
Okay, you'll get around to it. Okay. All right. Okay.
I'll get around to it.
Okay, man. Okay.
You were saying, Joshua.
No, I've never really been a BioShock guy. I love the imagery. I like the lore behind the series and stuff. But if Ken Levine's not doing it, is there really a point to doing another one of these? He's a visionary in the industry. He's a Kojima. He's a Todd Howard. There's no point to doing another BioShock. He's so integral to that franchise that you just can't do that without him. I wouldn't want them to do another one without him. Even though I'm not a fan of the franchise per se, I still do appreciate the world that he's built, the characters he's built, the lore he's done, and just don't do it. Just let the franchise be remembered as it was. BioShock and BioShock Infinite were respectively the best games of their year, arguably.
Yeah. You need to play Infinite, my friend, and that's not saying, like how we usually try to push stuff on, but I think
No. I get that. I've been hearing it for since.
Well, no. I'm actually just making a plea based on your intelligence. I think when you get to the end of the game, you're gonna call me and be like, "We need to talk for 3 weeks straight about what the hell just happened."
What was I gonna say?
I don't know. What were you gonna say?
I know about the characters he's crafted in this series. Booker and Elizabeth, and obviously he's created such. They become iconic, right? Just in the 2 years since Infinite came out, almost 3 years since Infinite came out. And obviously longer running ones. The Big Daddies and the Little Sisters. I don't know if that can continue. If 2K would continue that, or if they just be like, oh well, we're gonna slap the BioShock name on it because it's gonna sell millions of copies just on the name alone.
Yeah.
Especially after BioShock was a successful game, but it was really Infinite that took it to a whole nother level, right? That sold millions upon millions of copies.
Initially, because the original BioShock came out and it started off as like a cult classic.
It sold millions when it hit like platinum hits and greatest hits.
Yeah, but I mean, it was definitely word of mouth. Like I remember, picking it up and right after getting into conversations with small groups of people who had played it, and us telling people who were gamers like, you need to play this. I don't like first-person shooters. No, you need to play this, and it eventually built up to it so that when Infinite came out, it was a mega blockbuster, right?
Yeah. So I don't know how I feel about this. Even not being a big fan, I don't think I want to see this. It's not necessary. Just make the inevitable remake and be done with it. Just don't force it. If a game doesn't demand a sequel, if you didn't plan for one from the beginning, don't force it. Don't do it. It literally, from everything I've heard, this is one of the best games of last generation. This is one of the most perfect titles ever made. Don't force it. Don't force another game. Don't do it.
I think what you're getting at is a lot like what we do with film, right? Like there are certain directors that you do a film and there is nobody else who could have done it, right? Who could have told that story.
Right.
And that's basically what this is that, like I gave the example to Ray, like, you could do Metal Gear Solid without Kojima, it's not going to be Metal Gear Solid. You can do BioShock without Ken Levine, that it's not going to be BioShock. And we've already had that proof. I mean, we already had that proof with BioShock 2. Like, I know a lot of people like BioShock 2, but comparatively to BioShock and BioShock Infinite, worlds different. And I mean, quality even, world's different. But that's what it is. Josh, I got a bit of short news for you. You ready for this?
No, probably not.
Okay, well, bear down. Remember Carly Shimkus, Josh?
Unfortunately.
That's a dumb name.
Carly Shimkus and Fox News is at it again. Now with help from Catherine Timpf. Again, disparaging.
Where do they find people with these names?
I have no idea.
Montana.
Montana, yeah, exactly.
Idaho.
Miss Timpf decided to call Star Wars fans space nerds. We would just like her to know that we wear that like a badge of honor.
Amen. And you can come find me in line waiting for Star Wars Episode 7 on December 17th.
I just, you know what I find? I only put this in here not to like fight back like I did the last time we talked about this stuff, but I just think it's funny that they are now pushing into like the pop culture realm, to cause a stir and to cause reaction, and it's like, why? Like, what's the point? We're not gonna. Most people I know that are like super nerdy don't really care about politics right now because it's a bunch of bullshit.
It's a shit show.
Yeah, exactly. We're gonna watch a shit show. We'll turn on Gotham. I mean,
that's a wrap. That's a
wrap. Oh, wait, say it. Please say it for me.
Ironically, it's on Fox.
You have to wait.
Okay. Wait.
You can't just beg for it. Okay.
Oh, come on! I'm going to say it. Anywho's ways.
No.
We got some more news. A few more news bits, 3 to be exact, and then we will get into our topic of the week. The king of Let's Keep a Franchise Around for way longer than necessary, Vin Diesel,
Wrecked!
announced that there will be another Riddick movie entitled Furia and a TV show called Merc City. It's called Merc City.
No, please. You're lying.
Having to do with the bounty hunters of the Riddick universe. Literally, this is about as necessary as burning your house down because you saw a spider, but hey, if people are having a good time, man.
No, that's legitimate.
Don't make it.
If that
Next.
spider is as big as your dog, you burn it down and you rebuild.
We don't live in Australia like Aaron Paul did. Like, that's just...
Next item on the docket.
No thanks.
I know one of our people who contributes to the community, William Leverett, was really looking forward to this stuff.
Well, Will loves everything.
Well, to an extent, he does. I've always felt that like Pitch Black should have been a one-off movie because it was perfect, right? It wasn't too overboard. You know, it was kind of gritty, kind of grimy, and then we got into Chronicles, and then we got into Riddick, and Riddick was okay.
No, it wasn't.
Chronicles of Riddick was just, I don't even know. Like, it just went too far.
I will say, though, Escape from Butcher Bay was a really fun game.
Yeah, I mean, it was like, what is it, like one of the Game of the Years that people went back to all the time. What I find funny is the TV show Merc City, as if the Mercs that have been in the movies aren't completely interchangeable people. Like, the guy from the first one was only memorable because he was injecting drugs into his eyeball. There's your heroine, by the way, the real heroine.
Dang it!
The show. You know, but the ones, the ones from the third movie, it was just kind of like you literally could be anybody, which was sad because one of them was Katie Sackhoff. You know, I have no interest in these bounty hunters bounty hunting if they're not chasing Riddick. Like
Merc City, Merc City, bitch.
Mirelurk City.
10, 20s, bitch. Oh no, I'm sorry.
It's Mirelurk City.
Mirelurk City. That I would watch. Like, literally, I would watch Mirelurk City.
I would not, because the Mirelurk Queen still gives me nightmares.
Well, I found a king the other day, and he's way more terrifying.
That's not possible.
Yep.
They go invisible and they shoot sonic shit out of their mouth at you.
Oh,
Exactly. They're terrifying.
Like, at least the Mirelurk Queen you can see from a mile away. You're just like, I'm going to turn around and just not do anything. The king just comes out of nowhere and he's screaming at you like a wife who just found out that you texted your ex-girlfriend from high school just to see how she was doing on a Halloween.
He's actually 100% correct in that.
Yeah. So.
How many mini nukes did you use?
4.
Oh, Jesus.
I go for, like, to make sure it's dead.
To be fair, the mini nuke is really underpowered in Fallout 4 compared to
And
Fallout
they're also plentiful in this game. I have found, like, 8 fat men. It's like, why are there so many of these things here?
I actually found probably around that many actual fat men, and then I found, like, 3 that were, like, for legendary drops, and I was just like... God. What's funny, though, is that, like, the legendary drop ones don't really do anything different than the regular ones, but they're more valuable, so sell the shit out of them. Anyway, getting off topic, we're not very high on the Riddick stuff. So, recent rumors over the upcoming Guardians of the Galaxy 2 have stirred up James Gunn on Twitter. Website Heroic Hollywood claims that they knew who Star-Lord's father was going to be, and it was going to be Captain Marvel. Not Carol Danvers' Captain Marvel, but Silver Age Marvel. If anybody needs an explanation of that, please hit me up on Facebook.
Just call Kiku. He'll give you the whole history.
I will. Gunn responded on Twitter by calling them full of shit. That's a direct quote. And berating anyone for thinking a plot point is a scoop. Good for you, Mr. Gunn.
Yeah, he was not happy about this.
I can see he's getting annoyed. It's like, why can't you guys just let my movie
he went back and forth with these guys for a good 7 or 8 tweets. Just laying into them. He didn't even demand an apology. He just straight up laid into them. Like, he was just like, finally, like, I'm not even going to attempt to reason with you anymore. And they issued an apology on their own to him. And he kind of fired back and was like, well, thanks for it. I just can't believe it took you this long to admit that you were wrong. Because he had fans asking him if he would do a rewrite, now to admit that he was wrong and stuff. He's like, no, I'm not going to do a rewrite. Like, why would I do a rewrite? I'm not wrong. They're wrong. Like, this is stupid. This is childish.
Not only that, this is stuff we've talked about many times, and I always say that we've talked about many times, is the spoiler stuff. Like, look, guys, you want to scoop on, who was cast, in a movie, cool. That's a scoop, right? But scooping out plot points and trying to spread, spoiler shit across the internet to honest-to-God fans, like, what's the point of even going to the movies then? I mean, just print the damn script online, or, steal the script, print it online, and be like, there's your movie. You don't really need to see it now because you know everything. Like, and he did bring up something in the Twitter rant about, he likes to make movies, for people to go to be, like, awed and surprised. And, I mean, we're like that, too. I like to go into a movie not knowing much, which is why I got really upset at Hulu for having a goddamn Star Wars The Force Awakens commercial pop up on me while I was watching anime the other night, and all of a sudden I'm seeing shit I didn't want to see. And I'm just like, great, man, that's been awesome.
I was just trying to enjoy my One Punch Man, and I almost One Punched my television.
Actually, it was during One Punch Man. And also it was during Assassination Classroom. And I was just kind of like, that's not a scoop. It's not. We don't, you can speculate, but, putting it out there saying it's actual fact, that ruins a movie, man. Like, we can speculation is our game. That's what we do. We speculate. But once you sit there and you're like, oh, yeah, no, we have a source, and now people are like, well, the movie's ruined for us, And James Gunn loves his fans. His brother loves his fans. I met his brother, Sean Gunn. He's a hell of a guy. They love their fans, man. They really do, and they want their fans to enjoy the things that they put out for them. James Gunn is like the anti-George Lucas, which is a good thing. So, anything else on that, guys? Anything else to add?
No, that's about it. Have respect for your fellow fans.
Yes, especially if you are a quote-unquote news website. But last bit of news, guys. Something released right before Thanksgiving. We didn't do a show. We were all busy. Some of us had personal matters to attend to. And Jessica Jones came out on Netflix. Did it not, guys?
It did, and it did it well.
Jessica Jones, highly reviewed, critiqued, whatever you want to say. Both I and Josh have watched the entire series. I live tweeted it.
Did you guys really finish the whole thing already?
I did it in the first day. Remember, I was live tweeting the whole thing for us.
Oh, no, that's right. That's why I ignored you.
Yes.
I finished it in the first day also. It was I was laid up because I had just gotten out of the hospital. I actually had not planned on watching it. That first day, I planned on watching it over the course of Thanksgiving week. Ray, you and I actually talked about doing it over the course of Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
And then I threw all that out the window and watched it in the course of about 24 hours instead.
Well, I mean, you know what that makes Roy, right?
The odd man out.
Not a true fan. No, he's just not a true fan.
Yeah, totally.
He can't watch it in 24 hours because he's an adult with adult things to do.
Yep, totally. Yep, I hate everything about it, but so I won't watch it in 24 hours.
Yes.
Yep. That's me.
Well, we're going to talk about it, Ray, even though you're only up to episode 5, and I know a lot of people in our Facebook community also either
up to episode 5 though is more than enough to talk about.
And I mean, we're not going to. This isn't topic.
Well,
this isn't topic of the week. It's not. It's not even. We're going to try to do a Jessica Jones centric episode once everybody watches it. To really get deeper into it. But I can say, watching the whole show, it is easily the best thing Marvel has put out on TV. Easily.
Yeah. Previously, we had said Daredevil was. This is kind of following the pattern of the movies. Marvel is just outdoing themselves now.
Yeah.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has gotten better and better as each season has gone on. I have no doubt that Agent Carter Season 2 will be better than Season 1. This was better than Daredevil. I think that Daredevil had better fight scenes.
Definitely.
But that's because Daredevil is more of a fighter. Daredevil's a trained. Jones is a PI. What really struck me though was the cast was so much better in this. In Daredevil, the two most notable standouts obviously were Charlie Cox as Matt Murdock and Vincent D'Onofrio obviously as the Kingpin. In this show, pretty much every main cast member is a standout.
Yes.
a special notice has to be given to Kristen Ritter as Jessica Jones and Mike Coulter as Luke Cage. Literally, seeing Mike Coulter for the first time, you're like, holy God, did they recruit Luke Cage to actually be Luke Cage in the TV show?
And that was something that somebody on Twitter had posted. They were like, how'd they get Luke Cage to play Luke Cage? And I responded to him, and we had a good little back and forth about how Mike Coulter, like, really, the first time he shows up, like the first full shot you get in that first episode is him in a yellow T-shirt and blue jeans. And right away, you know, there he is. There is Luke Cage.
Yeah, Mike Coulter, you guys might remember, was originally set to be do the voice capture and the voice and motion capture for Spartan Locke in Halo 5. He dropped that once he was cast in Jessica Jones and only did the motion capture instead, and they replaced his voice with someone else. Him and 343 mutually parted ways. This is the best career move he could have possibly made. I've been telling Kiku this for a long time, that I firmly believe Coulter will make the jump to the Avengers down the line post-Infinity War. Seeing his performance in this show only affirmed that belief. Because Luke Cage he's a key new Avenger. And, God, the possibilities are just endless. Heroes for hire, etc. But this is Jessica Jones' show. This isn't the Luke Cage show. Obviously, he's just one standout in a series of standouts.
The thing that I really liked about this show was that right away it makes a statement, completely, and it deals with very adult subject matter in a very graceful way and in a very powerful way. And it was something that I kept saying on Twitter as I was going through the episodes, that Jessica Jones doesn't stop with the gut punches. Like, they don't pull any punches. They keep hitting you. And the way that they deal with, like, victims of sexual assault and the PTSD that comes from it was absolutely magnificent. I constantly have been telling people, still not sure that Marvel produced the show. Still not sure that it was an HBO who did it, because it was absolutely phenomenal. I can see some people complain that it wasn't as action-packed as Daredevil. And yeah, it wasn't. There was, just like Daredevil, after the 10th episode, a bit of a drop down in the quality. But overall, without going into spoiler stuff, Kristen Ritter, ungodly convincing as Jessica Jones, and I didn't think she could pull off what she pulled off in that show. So I'm very happy for her. Mike Coulter, as we said, is Luke Cage, but a special notice needs to go to goddamn David Tennant, because I have never felt so creeped out by an individual on television as much as I did with his Kilgrave.
Kilgrave is, I will say, he's the rare villain that makes you feel creeped out and disturbed even when he's not on screen. Even in the first episode, he's not on screen, but you feel his presence is felt throughout every single episode. Whereas Daredevil, it took 3 or 4 episodes to get Wilson Fisk on screen for the first time. You feel Kilgrave's presence from the first 15 minutes of Jessica Jones.
And that's
the effects.
That's definitely attributed to the writing, and also from the actors who come up who are, quote unquote, under the control of Kilgrave to really sell that.
That and the PTSD that Jessica Jones herself is under. Yeah. From being underneath Kilgrave's control. Which, that's not spoiler territory. That's known going straight into the series. David Tennant is phenomenal. I would say this is up there with the very best work he's ever done. Had he not been the 10th Doctor, I would say that this is his most memorable work. For me, this is the most powerful work I've ever seen him do. And it's because it's so dark and twisted. God, it goes against everything that you think he should be. Yes. As an actor, everything that he's ever been. And that's the mark of a good actor.
You also feel dirty for liking him, like in that role. Like you feel bad about it.
You do, and I mean the twisted morals that his character has in his mind what he thinks is he's doing what he thinks is right. It's just you don't sympathize with him at all. You're disgusted, but you just can't believe how somebody would think that. The depravity of the human mind is just how the writers explored that. It's a wonderful thing. The rest of the supporting cast, obviously, Rachel Taylor as Trish Walker, starts out weak, gets very, very strong towards the end of the series. I feel they really did a 180 on her character. They made her much better. And then I don't have the actor's name pulled up, but one of the supporting characters who lives in the same building as Jessica, lives right down the hallway from her.
Oh my god.
Malcolm.
Oh my god.
Malcolm. One of my favorite aspects of the entire series, right there. The actor who plays Malcolm, absolutely one of the MVPs of the series, right there. He's a notch below the core trio of Ritter, Jones, Ritter, Coulter, and Tennant. He's right below them in the impact he brings to this series and the emotional impact that you feel from his character. Just if you find yourself struggling with the first couple episodes, just keep pushing. It gets there. You will find yourself engrossed and immersed, but it is not for everyone. It is very difficult to watch. It's very hard, and it's extremely adult. This will probably be the most adult show Marvel will ever do.
Yes.
It was also one of the most adult comics they'd ever done.
True.
Right. There's a reason why Alias was rated 18+.
I mean, it was the one that was initialized to bring in Marvel Dark. I mean, that's what it was supposed to do.
I just want to add something to what Josh said. It will make you feel uncomfortable. The first episode it's on the show itself is unsettling. Kilgrave himself is an unsettling character, and do not go into the show thinking that this is standard Marvel fare. It's definitely more acting than it is action. And if you're into that sort of thing, then you will fall in love with it. It's very hardcore. Ray,
I found myself tearing up a couple of times.
Yeah. Ray, cannot wait for you to finish the show.
So Jessica Jones, I was excited because I was a fan of Alias, and I've always been a fan of Alias. I loved it. But with the train that I've been on so far, everything has been, superhero TV shows. Daredevil was a superhero TV show. Jessica Jones is not a superhero TV show.
No, it is not.
And once I figured that out, I enjoy it way more than I did the first 2 episodes. Because I had built that discrepancy that this isn't what I'm used to with Marvel. She is a gifted in the Marvel universe. But she's a strong PI. She's not a superhero. She'll tell you that. She's not. Yeah. She's not a superhero. And once I got past that, I could watch this show all the time. It's a great show. It's really
that's actually something that I had discussed with somebody who said that they weren't really getting into it over the first couple of episodes. I was like, you need to temper your expectations about that this is a superhero show. It's not. It's a gritty crime story.
Exactly.
With the superhero stuff in the background.
It just takes place in the same universe.
It does. It really does with gifted people. But you have to go into it expecting good TV and not good superhero. And I think if you do, you'll absolutely fall in love with it.
Because it's really well done. I don't care what anybody says. The show is really well done.
It's probably the best thing that's been put on TV this year.
And I fully agree with you there. That it's by far my favorite, not just superhero show. It's my favorite television show I've watched, period, this entire year. There's one line I want to leave everybody with from the show that Luke Cage says. I don't remember what episode he says. It's somewhere it's about in the middle of the series. I think it's episode 6 or 7. And he looks at Jessica Jones and he says, how many more are there like us out there? And she goes, what do you mean, like us? Gifteds? He goes, yeah. He's like, there's you, me, and the big green guy and his crew. You think that's it? Or you think there's more? And it hints that the characters are starting to become more aware that it's more than just them, right?
Which is great. They're more aware of the universe around them, which we're already keyed into.
Right. And it's it's not breaking the fourth wall, but
Mhm.
they're becoming more and more aware of their surroundings. Like in Daredevil, we knew that they were aware of the alien invasion of the Avengers, right? And they reference it here as well. Carrie Ann Moss's character references it a few times. Kristen Ritter references it a few times, but overall, it's not whatever. And that's good. It shouldn't be leaned on as a crutch. Ultron shouldn't be leaned on as a crutch here. Those should just be catalyst events.
And there's also a
but
reference to Daredevil as well in the show.
yeah, that there's
Yeah.
there's a quick little reference to it, and it's gonna make you smile like a kid on Christmas when you see it.
Yeah, I
Yes.
mean, and I'm not down on the show at all, but I am still kind of, they're like here with Daredevil and Jessica Jones. I really enjoyed Daredevil. I really enjoyed it.
Right, and I did too. It took to about episode 6 or 7 for it to really skyrocket for
Yeah,
me.
and I don't know, and that's because Jessica Jones doesn't have to deal with what they have to deal with, and that's a superhero origin story.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's a
And
definitely
that's the best part is
her life story.
a retired superhero is the way that it's been phrased before. Like she's been through the motions, like she's tried the whole shit.
Is this the one which I don't believe they have her being that she actually tried it in this one.
They show it later on in the series.
Okay, well, that's
like
weird.
briefly, like they
Okay.
show like one time she actually tries, or 2 times she tries to help somebody.
Okay, yeah, so it's not as detailed as in the comics, all right.
And I'll put it to you like this: Daredevil was pretty much a nonstop action ride, right? Or close to it, right? Close to it.
Close, yeah.
Jessica Jones is a pressure cooker.
Mhm.
You hit episode 10 and everything explodes, and that's when you look back at everything that's happened, and you're just kind of like, what the is going on? Oh my god!
I love shows like that. Good writing.
Yes.
I love that.
And as I did, and you guys saw, and anybody else following me on Twitter, I congratulated Brian Michael Bendis on the show, and he did favorite it. So thank you, Brian. And of course, Josh. What time is it?
Oh, I don't know, a little thing called Talk of the Week.
Topic of the week.
Topic of the week.
Topic of the week this week is going to be, guess what, boys? That gosh darn Civil War trailer that came out of magically nowhere on Jimmy Kimmel that set the internet on fire, and even though everybody thinks it showed a whole bunch of stuff, showed absolutely nothing.
I mean, come on, guys, let's stop. Oh, it showed too much. If you haven't read the comic, yeah, it might have showed too much, but you don't know anything about it to begin with.
Yes.
So,
All that matters, guys, all that matters is T'Challa. That's
Oh
all
my
that matters.
God.
Gotta look at Black Panther.
that was the only thing from this trailer where I was like, oh my god.
I think
it's
Ray and I
finally
both
happening.
teared up and cried to each other, even though we were an internet screen apart.
It's finally happening. And I'm thrilled.
If anybody listening to this could have seen the messages Ray and I were sending each other upon the release of this trailer and the morning after, it was nothing short of magical.
Oh man.
Well, Ray, my favorite character was shown during the trailer as well, right?
No, who might that have been?
To cauliflower.
Keep going.
Anyway, got him. Yes. Yes, T'Challa being shown, I was super amped, especially because he kicks Bucky in the face.
Yes.
Instead of flying. The suit looks great. It does not look. It looks a little spaceman-ish, but very happy with it.
I'm reaching, but I'm sure this is his battle armor and not like his regular armor.
Sure.
Because this is war. This is obviously shit's going down by this point.
This is Sparta?
So shut up, Josh.
Never put T'Challa as a dude bro from 300 dressing up for Halloween, please.
But yeah, when I feel like when they're showing T'Challa in this trailer, like he's already been established way before where they are now, and like shit's going down, and he knows. So yeah, he looks like a Dino Thunder Ranger, but I don't care. He looks like the best Dino Thunder Ranger.
So let's get into it. Yes, we saw Black Panther, but the trailer made it seem like the fight that's going to go down, the Civil War, is over Bucky Barnes.
Which is, man, I thought it would be something like more middle ground. You know what I mean?
No, it actually is. I have information I can share with you.
What? Who gave you information?
I have people, right? I
Oh,
have people.
oh.
I do.
No, you don't.
You have us. What did Josh show you?
Okay, so first from the trailer, you two are fuckers. Second from the trailer, there is a split-second scene where a piece of paperwork is being handed off to what looks like the hands of Scarlet Witch, and it says, and it does say on it, after it's blown up, Sokovia Accords.
Mm-hmm.
And as we know from the end scene of Ant-Man, that special little stinger, Falcon says to Cap, the Accords might not let him help us. The Sokovia Accords look like they're going to take the place of the Superhuman Registration Act. For those of you not keyed into Civil War out there that are listening to us, the Superhuman Registration Act was the start, was the cause of fighting for the Civil War. So it actually looks like that Bucky Barnes is going to be more of a side piece, right? Like that has to do with this Superhuman Registration Act. But it is actually going to be called the Sokovia Accords. It will be done over Superhuman Registration and accountability.
Which is good. Well, I mean, and I don't know, it'll be weird because initially Tony Stark was against the registration. So we'll see what this entails and if it's more spurred off of what happened with him in Sokovia rather than, what actually happened.
And it absolutely is, right? Because we've already seen, and I shared this belief with Ray when we were talking that he's been feeling guilt since the first Avengers, right?
Yes.
They've been building this conflict between Stark and Cap since Avengers 1. They already had that conflict in the room with Loki's scepter, where they're arguing with one another about how Cap even got his power, right? And Stark felt the guilt of the Chitauri attack. And then he created Ultron, and Ultron destroyed an entire nation and almost destroyed the entire world. And so that's why Tony Stark retires as a hero. Obviously, in the Civil War trailer, he's back in action and stuff. And he's telling Cap, if we can't be regulated, we're no better than the bad guys. Which there's a truth to what he's saying, right? And that's the best part about the Civil War arc in the comics is everything is so ambiguous. There's no right or wrong side to everything, and they're gonna screw up everyone's line of thinking with this movie.
I mean, they already have. I know people who are like, "How could Captain America do something like this?" Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, "This is exactly what I wanted and what they wanted."
Yep. When they first announced this movie, everybody's first thought was, "Oh my God! Well, they're gonna make Iron Man the villain. Iron Man's gonna be the bad guy."
Oh boy. But yeah, just like what you were saying just a second ago, it's like when they're talking about the regulation, I think it's it's more so the guilt that had somebody been around to stop me from doing what I was doing when I didn't know what I was doing as far as Ultron goes, it might not have happened.
Right.
So if he had somebody to pump the brakes on him, like there was a checks and balances on him, he's taking the full blame for it all over again.
Yes.
But he wasn't in his right mind thanks to the Scarlet Witch. But when we get to the point of Bucky, neither was Bucky, and that's what they're going to kind of throw in his face. Like, yeah, Bucky did all this terrible shit, but he was also brainwashed. You created Ultron, but you were also brainwashed. So I don't know. It's going to be real interesting.
I'm liking that they're going with the Cap on the run kind of thing because that does follow suit with the comics.
Oh, that follows like that's the best thing they could have done.
Yeah. And I really love I mean, everybody's been going off about it on the interwebs, and we really do need to talk about it because it's a beautiful line. I'm sorry you don't understand, but Bucky's my friend.
No.
So was I.
No.
Like that is like I honestly after that line, like yeah, the trailer shows a lot of the fighting, because that's what you would expect from Civil War, right? But
that single tear.
No, but I feel like we're about to get hit with something that I don't think we thought. Well, yeah. I think I think we're looking at probably Marvel's best film when it comes to just content. Maybe not the action, maybe not what, because that line is it's so powerful.
By itself, I had to stop. It was like, oh oh my God. Like, because we know what these guys have been through together, everything. And then for him to say something like that, oh man, it hurt me bad. It hurt me real bad. Uh,
I mean, it's we can geek out as much as we want about Black Panther, right? Obviously, they didn't show a lot of the other characters and cast that we have come to know that are going to be in the film, which is good because the trailer really only shows you like a fraction of what's going to happen during any sort of civil war, right? It's just showing the conflict really between Cap and Iron Man and Cap's friendship with Bucky, right? But there's going to be so much other stuff, so much tearing and whatnot, and the fact that the trailer shows none of that just has me more hyped. What they didn't show has me more hyped than what they did show.
There was one that it was almost a blink and you miss it shot that has been still framed and it's been shown around a lot, and it's the aftermath of a battle scene where Tony Stark has his helmet off and Rhodey has his face mask off but still has the rest of his helmet on. And Tony is cradling Rhodey in his arms.
Oh, yeah.
And Rhodey has his arc reactor just ripped out, not just removed, but just completely mangled out of his chest. And that leads me to wonder if that's the moment. If Rhodey, God forbid, is killed, is that the moment?
That. Like, they better not Goliath Rhodey.
If that is the moment that shoves Tony over the edge.
Which very well it could.
If that, because that would be the one hero that Tony would go over the edge for.
That's true.
That's his brother.
Mm-hmm.
That's his Bucky.
Well, yeah. that is his Bucky, and that is also his. How do I phrase this? That is where his filter is gone.
Yep. That's the one person who can hold him back.
Yeah, that's when he will probably go full original Tony. Which full original Tony he's a mess, but he's not somebody to
Iron Man
with.
1 Tony.
Yes, he's not. You do not trifle with that Tony. So, it could be real interesting.
It's also important, Kiku was referencing what we didn't see in the trailer. We didn't see we didn't see Scarlet Witch in action. We didn't see the Vision at all. We didn't see Hawkeye in action. Ant-Man was not shown. All four of those were seen in action during the D23 footage, in great detail as well. We did see some great shots of the Falcon in action. Falcon and Cap's relationship obviously has evolved, and so of course he's firmly in Cap's corner in this one with that awesome new suit. We did not see anything at all of Baron Zemo. He is going to be kept under wraps until this movie,
which is good. I'm really excited about that.
I'm so excited for Baron Zemo.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god. There's people complaining about no Spider-Man. Seriously,
stop complaining. I mean, it was fun to complain about it for a while, but I'm fake complaining about it. There are people.
Tom Holland did a week and a half of shooting total across Civil War's shooting. Stop complaining. No Crossbones. Stop complaining.
Well, I mean, we've already seen the Crossbone photos. We saw the D23.
Crossbones was in the D23 footage. Stop complaining.
And we don't. There is so much that wasn't shown. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like you guys said, Baron Zemo. We have no idea what Baron Zemo is even doing in the film. Like, is he going to start up the Thunderbolts project? We don't know.
I want to see the movie.
Oh God, please.
We don't know if he's taking over the role of Red Skull in the Civil War,
which I am positive that he is.
Yeah, most likely, because obviously Hugo Weaving doesn't want to come back as the Red Skull and whatnot. We don't know what General Thunderbolt William Ross is doing.
If we get Red Hulk, boys.
Oh, that'll be phenomenal. But
boys.
Again, we don't. This is why this trailer is so awesome, because it left you, seeing some really cool stuff, seeing that main tension between Tony and Steve. But then afterwards, you're just kind of like, that can't be it. Like, that's not all that there is, and there's so much more that's going to go along with this. I mean, we don't even know if they snuck in cameos with Luke Cage. We don't know if they snuck in cameos with or what Spider-Man's role is going to be in it.
Daredevil.
Which again, yeah, Daredevil. We don't, Charlie Cox has been, dying. Yeah, begging to be in Civil War. I mean, there's
his contract included an option for it.
Yeah, so I mean, we don't know, and that's the thing that we should really be talking about, and what people should be focusing on instead of putting up memes of no Spider-Man, blah blah, like Spider. Who cares? We don't even know if this Spider-Man is going to be awesome. I mean, it could be bad.
Let's be real. It won't be bad.
but I mean, there is that still small possibility. We've got so many. I have so many other questions because of this trailer.
He has a hot Aunt May. It's not going to be bad.
Exactly. It's not. Oh man. It's not.
Let the misogyny rise to the top like cream and coffee.
Not even.
Ben didn't leave the house with this one. It's okay.
Oh Jesus, Josh. So I mean, from the trailer, what we got, there are so many other questions that we do have and whatnot, and I can't wait now to see this movie, and it's because of
the
what
possibility of the Wasp.
Yep. We don't. Yeah. Again, we don't know if Evangeline Lilly is going to show up in it. We don't know. Honestly, there's just so much going on right now.
How do we get back to Infinity War? That is important.
Yes. Yes. Are the Infinity Stones going to be a part of this?
I've been saying it. I firmly believe the end of this leads us to Tony Stark creating the new Avengers. And that he is the piece that ties together all of Phase 3. He starts recruiting them in each of their movies.
What about Illuminati, though?
I'm okay with there not being an Illuminati.
I'm okay with it because I think the Illuminati gets formed after Infinity War.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. I think so too,
That
because they have to
he
have to determine what happens to the Gauntlet at that point.
Yes.
Right. I believe that he recruits Strange, Panther, Captain Marvel, and Ant-Man and Wasp to form a new Avengers, as well as whoever doesn't go into hiding after the Civil War, or who doesn't just straight up quit after the Civil War, to form a new Avengers, and whenever they get completely shit-kicked in Part 1...
I have a feeling that this is where Scarlet Witch goes heel, so we'll find out.
Yeah, Scarlet Witch is...
She's gonna go heel after this, I think. And she will be a villain.
Psycho Killer!
I don't know if they'll go that route.
Yet.
See, yeah, yet. Only because...
That's big for Infinity War Part 1, rips the gem out of Vision's head.
Like, her going crazy at this point, like we know Wanda to often do, is just, I think that's counterintuitive to what they're trying to do at the moment.
Oh, I don't think so.
I honestly think that Infinity War is the breaking point for her. I don't think it's Civil War. They just introduced her. She hasn't really had enough time to be a good guy for us to really care that she's going to be a bad guy.
Is she really a good guy? I mean, she sided with the winning side for Ultron. I mean, I don't know. Well,
I mean, Ultron tricked them. We don't, like I said, we don't know. We don't know what's going to happen. She might. The reason I think it's Infinity War is I think she sees the power of the actual Infinity Stones and realizes she can use them to resurrect her brother.
And I mean, technically, Ultron was her fault. Cough.
Sure. But again, there's just. If you haven't seen the trailer, I don't know why, and I'm not going to berate you for it.
What are you doing with your life?
I watched it enough for you. It's fine.
We're not going to berate you publicly, but we will berate you privately. You should watch this trailer. You should geek out over the fact that Black Panther is there.
Yes.
And then watch it 2-3 times, and then have questions. If you need to talk to us about it, please do. I have read all 98 books of the Civil War. Ray tried to.
I tried to. Well, actually, I'm trying again.
Okay.
Ray and I are attempting it right now.
We are trying it right now. Like, I am in the middle of it. I'm starting from the very beginning with the very first Spider-Man comic.
And now we're here.
Also, to comic fans out there, realize that this is only going to be a 2-hour to 2.5-hour movie. There is no way that they're going to cover every little bit of information.
Oh God, I honestly would hate that. I would hate that. I wouldn't want that in a movie.
Yeah. Civil War, in all honesty, to be done correctly like that, should be a 4-season television event.
It was already done properly. It was a comic book, and it was a lot of them.
Exactly.
With the Fantastic Four.
Yes.
But we are definitely going to be keeping our eyes on this. Hopefully one more trailer drops, and we get a little bit more information. But again, don't worry, it's not going to be that, Cap has a
It
man
will, and then the whole
for
movie
Bucky.
will get spoiled for us before it comes out because Marvel will release too many commercials again.
Fair enough. But the movie is not going to be about or Captain America's friend boner for Bucky. We will have the Superhuman Registration Act.
No, it's just gonna be Captain Bucky and be like, Bucky's my friend. He's my best friend. He's the only thing I got from when I was a kid.
Man,
Why are you so
I just
negative?
need that Black
What
Panther
is
Funko Pop.
what is the next hashtag going to be? Hashtag Dead Bucky? Thanks, Ray.
It's
Thanks.
gonna happen. No, it won't happen. They won't kill off Bucky. He's too good.
Hashtag boner for Bucky.
Yep,
Voter for
that's
Bucky.
the
There
new
we go.
one.
That's the new one. That is the new one. Also, we are going to get our first chance to see 3 Captain Americas all in one movie, fighting together.
I'm not gonna say that one of them is better than the others, because that'd be rude.
Falcon for Cap.
Shh.
Falcon for Cap.
It's not gonna happen. I'm telling
But
you. I told you.
we will get to see, and we got to see the trio of them, kind of hanging out, and we did get to see that amazing scene of Bucky and Cap going Dudley Brothers on Iron Man, on Tony Stark.
Hurt my
Dude,
feelings.
just
It hurt
that
my
shield.
feelings.
That
shield.
That flip shield combo, man. You're not going to even get that in Marvel versus
The
Capcom.
cinematography in this movie, good God. But yeah, that hurt my feelings, and I'm sure that Tony gets his revenge. He gets his scene, I'm sure.
Oh, I'm sure.
Team Stark.
Yep.
But we are going to pay attention to this. We are going to talk more about it, obviously, as the months come up, leading to Civil War. And most likely, because it is us, we will have a Civil War-centric episode.
We
Guys,
will.
you heard me? Yes.
That Black Panther Funko Pop that's going to come out, though.
If that doesn't happen soon, I'm gonna be very upset with the world.
Yes. Well, as we know, I collect those, so I will buy it.
I'm going to need that.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna need that one
For
too.
sure. We're also going to need the Green Goblin that Josh spotted on the back of the Taskmaster box that I found. Going to need the Taskmaster too and the Green Goblin as well. We didn't tell you about that.
Does the mask come off and it's Grant Ward?
We're hoping.
God.
Well, no,
My life is complete. Oh,
Wait,
God.
did you see the picture of Taskmaster, like the pop? It's actually him with the shield and sword.
Oh, that's great.
It's amazing. It's
Yeah,
amazing.
but I need the mask to come off for it to be Grant Ward.
Fair enough.
Dude, if that happened, I never need to buy another collectible in my life. Ever.
Okay, I'm calling liar now, so I don't have to call it later, because there's always awesome stuff coming out. But with that, because I know there's really not much else we have to say about Civil War, the Captain America trailer, whatever, I'm going to spin us out of topic of the week and to shout-outs. Guys, do you have any shout-outs this week?
Come back to me. I will have one in just a minute.
Fair enough. Ray.
I always know that this is coming, and then I'm like, oh man, I can't remember anything. And then after we're done, it's like, oh, I should have said such and such. And this time is no different. So, yes, shout out to
Such and such.
To Nick. No, Nick exists. He lives. He's somewhere.
Yes.
I know that he's listening / and or watching. We miss you.
Watching.
Watching.
He's okay. Taking part in the watching.
Yes.
Okay. Sounds like a magic ritual. The path of the watching.
I want one.
Josh, and yes, Nick, we miss you. Please come back. Obviously, Nick, guys, if we haven't said much. Nick is doing some things in his life right now. He will be back after the first of the year.
Nick is taking care of Nick, and when
Nick is
that's
taking
done,
care of Nick.
he'll come back to us.
He will. He will.
I have no shout out this week, but I do have a reminder for everybody. As of the recording of this episode, we are officially 18 days away from Star Wars The Force Awakens. That is all.
Oh yeah.
18
Oh, but
days.
you also can't forget, Josh. Tomorrow is Monday.
What's tomorrow? Why is tomorrow Monday?
New episodes of the Yokai Watch at 5 for Central Time.
Oh my God. KQ, get us out of here.
All right. I have technically a shout out and a little something to say.
Take us
and
home,
it is-
Chewie.
Well, it is personal, and it's not going to be funny. So I apologize if it depresses anybody or makes anybody teary-eyed. As a lot of people in our Facebook community may not know, and definitely I've kept it off the show, we haven't been recording as much lately because I've been going through some personal difficulties. Not only did I have the knee surgery that we have joked about on the show, but unfortunately my fiance did leave me. I have tried to keep it for the last month off of Facebook. Some of you guys know in the community because you are a part of my personal Facebook or you are personal friends that have talked to me. So really, this shout out is to thank everyone over the past month who has spoken to me, who has engaged me in conversation and helped take my mind off of the definitely difficult time in my life. So to everybody in the community, thank you very much. If I don't name you and I start dropping names, please forgive me, because there's been so many people who have, done it and whatnot, who have spoken to me, who have tried to, help me out and whatnot. So I want to thank Corey, Tanya, Lindsay, and Josh. You guys especially have definitely helped me out, especially in my personal life, because you are in real life here where I live. To anybody else who just gave me a vote of confidence and reminded me that I am a good person, and I really do appreciate all of that. And a very special thank you to you two, Josh and Ray, who, in all honesty, I wouldn't have made it through the last month and a half without you guys, for staying up late playing video games with me and talking, answering text messages, letting me vent, waking up to talk to me. Ray, thank you for that.
I do like you a lot.
I know, and I appreciate it. So this shout out is, as much as it doesn't seem like it, everybody matters to me personally, and I want to thank every single one of you, and especially you two. So thank you. This will be my last show from actually this location. Tomorrow I move into a new place, and I will have my own Kiku studio. I'm going to turn it into an actual studio with fancy stuff. It's going to look nice. I had to buy all new bedroom furniture and office furniture because none of that was mine. So prepare for that when you watch it on video, guys. And with that, thank you, everybody. Seriously, thank you. And that's it for Neek the Podcast. We will be back. I don't know about next weekend. The holidays are coming up. We might have to take an extended break because everybody has family time or things to do. I'm getting back to work, yada, yada, yada. So
we will have some special episodes, though.
We will. There definitely will be a Star Wars episode. Prepare your anuses and underwear for that, because it's going to be amazing. So with that, guys, over the holidays, if you don't hear from us as much or you don't get that weekly episode that you're craving, keep it nerdy, and we will be back at full force after the first of the year.
Yes, we will be.
While somebody washes her dishes. Hi, Rachel!
No, that was water. I had to go. Sorry.
Okay, fair enough. Let's,
Why are we still recording?
Keep it nerdy, and we'll get out of here.